Hi, I'm Allie with PotomacBeads. Join me as I show you how to do these beautiful RounDuo Bangle Bracelets. These are a version of the RounDuo Mini ring that we did, but just amped up to a full bracelet size. And I show you the difference in the seed beads that you use between the RounDuos and the RounDuo Minis. You can make it with either. If you want some supplies, go ahead and look below the video. In the description, we have them all listed out there for you. You can also go to the website and check out the full selection of RounDuo and RounDuo Minis and add and play with your colors there. Gather up all your materials on your bead on it board and let's get started. So to begin this bangle, what you can do is use either RounDuos or you can use RounDuo Minis. The pattern is the exact same. It's just that you're going to change the size of the seed beads that you're working with. Here I have the RounDuo Minis along with 11O seed beads and 15O seed beads. The RounDuo Minis are a 4mm while the RounDuos are a 5. For the step up in size, I have 8Os and 11Os. So the pattern is the exact same, no matter which one you want to use, the RounDuo Mini or the RounDuo, and the only thing that switches is the side of the seed bead. If you want to do the RounDuo with the smaller seed beads, you can do that too, and you basically just double the amount of 11O seed beads. It'll make more sense as we build the project. I'm going to use a clasp on this one rather than the bangle. I prefer the bangle with the smaller RounDuos, and I liked the clasp with the regular RounDuos. So RounDuo Minis I did as a bangle. I'll show you how to connect it as well. To start out, we are going to grab a stop bead. A stop bead is a bead that is going to be on the thread and needle, but come off. It's just there, literally as it says, to stop the bead. I'm going to use about 2 inches or so, just enough to hold on to at the very end, and pull my thread and needle through one time and then a second time. Again, this stop bead will be coming off the project. Now, oh so simple. RounDuo gets added, 11O or an 8O. RounDuo, 8O. You're doing this the whole length of the project, just one for one as you're building. One thing that you do want to make sure whenever you are using a multi-hole bead, RounDuo, RoundTrio, SuperDuo, anything, is that the second hole is open. So I've inspected these before I get started, so that way I make sure that I don't get done and do not have a second hole. So right now, your task is just 8O, RounDuo, 8O, RounDuo. If you're doing the RounDuo Mini version, you're going to use 11Os in between. Once you get done the length that you need, and if you're doing a clasp, you want just a little bit of room for a clasp. If you're not doing a clasp and making it continuous, you need to make sure that it's big enough to go around that little widest part of your wrist. This is the tricky thing with bangles, that you don't want it to be too big. I like mine really snug, so I make mine just to fit. And it will shrink up just the tiniest little bit as you add the exterior beads, so keep that in mind. If you're not crazy about the bangles because of that fit issue, you can always use a clasp. If you are not using a clasp, what you are going to do is you are going to, I'm going to take that 8O. If you're not using a clasp and doing a full-on bangle, what you're going to do is take your thread and needle and just change it from one side to the other. Come back down the project and add in your next row of 8s. If you're adding your clasp, what you're going to do is add an 8, 2 11s, your clasp, magnets are always fun to use, 2 more 11s, and an 8. Then we're coming back down the project. Now we come back down the project and we add in an 8O seed bead. If you're using RounDuo Minis, you'll add in one 11O seed bead. So again, exact same technique, just with a different size seed beads. And then you have to decide if you're doing a clasp or making it a bangle. One of the reasons I love this version is because there are so many different ways that you can work with the design. So I'm here at the end of the bracelet, right near my starter bead. If you are doing the bangle, what you're going to do is you are going to connect these sides. Remember, you'll be out of the RounDuo and just have that thread going from one side to the other. What you're going to do is an 8O seed bead. You're going to sew into the RounDuo on the opposite side. We're just pretending, ignoring the clasp there. And that's going to bring this into a loop. You're going to reverse the RounDuo on the opposite side, coming back through the opposite way. Add another 8O and sew in back near that starter thread. See, that's it. And that creates that loop there. Going back then, you go back through the RounDuo the opposite way. To add the clasp, it's really simple. I'm actually going to remove my needle quick so I can show you how to add the clasp. So when you get to the opposite end to add the clasp, here, going through, it's always a good idea to take your needle off. You're just going to do the exact same thing that you did to the other side. You're going to put on an 8-0 seed bead followed by 2 11-0s. Go in here and add my needle back. 8-0 seed bead, 2 11-0s into the clasp, 2 11s, an 8 into the RounDuo. And that gets you one with a clasp. So again, so much versatility. Now what we're going to do is get ready to go in and create our sides. To do so, I'm going back through the RounDuo, just as if I was getting ready to kind of do that connection spot. I'm also going to go through the 8-0 and the 2 11-0s. Come down through the opposite side, reinforcing the clasp. It's going to bring me out right next to that stop bead. Go down through the 11s and the 2 8s and come on out. Ignore that stop bead there for now. Along the sides then, what we are going to do is we are going to use 1 and 2 8-0s and sew in to the next 8-0. That's it. It continues the whole way, adding in 2 8-0s. The 11s we add on the next pass. So continue adding 2 11-0s and connecting to, 2 8-0s and connecting to all of the 8s that are already there. That adds those 8-0s right along the side in the design. If you're doing the RounDuo Mini, you're doing the 2 11-0s. If you're doing RounDuos, but you don't want the size of the big seed beads, here's where you're adding 4 of your 11-0 seed beads around the side. I'm going to continue adding in my 2 more 8-0 seed beads between each of the 8s along that side. Come down, reinforce the side here, come out the opposite side, and do the same thing so I get back to the starter side. All right, so even if you're doing the bangle, here's that reverse. So if you're doing the bangle, you get to the side where you're like, oh my goodness, all my 8s are done already. This is amazing. All you're going to do is take your thread and needle from that last RounDuo Mini, reverse it around the RounDuo Mini, and come back and start adding the 8-0s on the opposite side. Here on the one with the clasp, I've gone through the 8, reinforced with my thread through the clasp, coming back down, and then we just continue as is on the opposite side. All right, here we are at the end. We're getting another pass in. This is why I love this for a bangle bracelet, because you're going up and down the project and really reinforcing it. Same thing here. You would go through the next RounDuo, circle your thread back up, pop one out. I'm going through the clasp here because I did a clasp on this one. Going through the first grouping of my 8-0 seed beads, coming out after the 2 that I just added on that little almost floral side. And here's where you pop the 11-0 in on the side and then go through the side 2 beads that you just added. So previously we went through the 2 that were already there. Now we're going through the 2 that were added. In the bangle bracelet here, I'm doing it with a 15-0 with the 11-0 seed beads. Even if you're doing 11-0 seed beads with the RounDuo versus the RounDuo Mini, you will still switch over to the 15-0s. And there you go. You can see it pulls it just a little bit tighter. So it causes a tiny bit of that curvature, which for a bangle and for a bracelet is kind of perfect because it pops those RounDuos or RounDuo Minis towards the top. So just 11-0 right down through. The 8-0s along the side. Once you get to the side, we're going to flip over and we're going to do the opposite side. Once you get to the end, you can see this lovely bracelet design. Again, it has a tiny bit of curvature. When you do it with the RounDuo Minis, you do the full bangle, you see that curvature just a tiny little bit more, and that makes the RounDuos really pop. From here, when you get to the end, there's still that starter bead there, right next to our RounDuo. And the same case is going to be for the bangle as well. What I'm going to do is go into that first 8-0 that sits outside of that starter thread. We have so many threads going through the clasp. It's great. Lots of reinforcement, 3 each. You're going to take away that stop bead, pulling it away from the project. Grab those 2 thread ends and simply tie them together. If you're doing the bangle, good idea. even if you're not doing the bangle, is to go back through the seed beads kind of along the side here to get rid of your thread towards the interior, kind of pulling it there. Go back down around the row, back up through your RounDuo or RounDuo Mini for the bangle, and just reverse where those two sides meet one more time. That gives you just a little bit of extra added security. From here, once I've got my threads on two separate areas, I'm going to go in with my thread zap or thread burner. I used white thread with this. If I would have used black, I would make sure that my knots are near the black beads. Because I used white, I put them near the aluminum silver. With my bangle bracelet design, I used green thread, so I made sure to do my tie, which I can't even find, towards the back of the project. Right there it is, towards the back of the project next to the green bead. With this one here with the silver, I also used white thread, and same thing, it's hard to even find where the tie is, so you can really hide that as well. I love this design and the simplicity of it, the use of 11 O's and 15 O's, and hope you enjoy it as well. Thank you so much for joining me in this really fun and simple project. Great for a beginner, great for an advanced beader as well, and a wonderful way to play with color and that color design with very few products. As always, if you need any products, go ahead and look below the video in the description. We'll put links there to the exact materials listed, as well as link to get back to our website so you can shop around if you want to do it in alternative colors. If you do it in alternative colors, we would love to see your photos in our Facebook group for beading and jewelry making, so make sure to become a member there and to post. Also hit that little subscribe button so you don't miss anything from us here at Potomac Beads. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more inspirational designs.